Good morning, everybody. Good morning, America. It is Driven Fitness Erica, your friendly and fabulous personal trainer and health and wellness expert. Happy Wednesday, December 30th. I feel like I need more light. There we go. That's better. Hopefully it's not fab, but that works. This is my daily hair check for, I hate when it's like off. Curly haired people unite. You understand what I'm saying. Daily hair check. Good morning. Happy December 30th. Another trip around the sun, right? Congratulations for making it this far this year. Make sure you take a few moments. I posted this in Instagram yesterday. Make sure you take a few moments to really think about the good of this year, right? There are a lot of things that were not so great this year. A lot of people struggled mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. But I know for each and every one of you, there is at least one, if not many, good things that came out of this year. So make sure you really concentrate on those in the next week and go into 2021 remembering all of our blessings. Not everyone had the privilege of making it through this year, unfortunately. So if you did and you're here to talk about perimenopause and menopause, congratulations. So I'm turning 43 next Monday, and coincidentally, at the same time, I'm also getting this menopause certification for non-medical professionals. And it's been so interesting and fascinating, and I've learned so much that I wanted to just share a little bit about it, particularly for the younger ladies in the group who tune in to me every week and perhaps haven't really started thinking about menopause or don't know that much about it. So these are just the top things that I have learned over the last few weeks just in this first few modules of this training session. So this is going to be heavy educational, a little bit longer than normal, but I hope that you can gain a little bit of understanding from it. I'm going to get my water. So what's funny about this is me turning 43 is I've been noticing some changes in the last few years. I tell you, especially like the last three, probably when I hit my 40s, stuff just didn't started going wonky, and I don't have children. So, there was no explanation for some of these symptoms until I started learning about perimenopause. So we're going to talk about it. No one likes to talk about it. Honestly, I was a little bit depressed. I was really depressed after learning about all this stuff. And that's a whole nother thing that I have to learn how to deal with as a single woman, trying to find a partner while then also going through perimenopause. I was in tears, but it's probably the hormones. So let's get started. We got 3 people joining us today. So I wanted to talk specifically about perimenopause today. So that is our younger ladies. I learned that perimenopause can start as early as in your mid-30s. Crazy. So if you're your mid-30s to say 50, this live coaching session is for you. So things that I learned. Number 1, the definition of menopause. Actually, menopause is only one day. It is the anniversary of the year that you've had since you've had your last period. So you have your last period, 12 months pass, that day is technically menopause, one day. All the time before that day is perimenopause, and perimenopause can be 8 to 10 years long, 8 to 10. So all you endurance athletes out there, you've got this covered. You're used to running marathons. It is a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to be mental. Okay. So perimenopause, 8 to 10 years before you hit that menopausal date, which is 12 months since your last period. So as I said, it can start in the mid-30s. And the thing that I learned mostly about perimenopause is that it is just characterized by inconsistency and unpredictability, because your body is going through some huge changes. Just like your body went through huge changes in your teens when you went through puberty, now we're on the back end of that journey, and your body is now going through, again, huge hormonal changes all over. So during perimenopause, the hormones in your body are super unpredictable. Like, you're not cycling through your hormones normally like you used to. in your prime childbearing years. So because of that, because the hormones are all up and down inconsistently, so are all of these symptoms. And I just wanted to talk about the symptoms I learned about because some of them were super eye-opening. And if you are not your own advocate and you don't have education, then you won't know who to turn to when perhaps you're having some of these symptoms. And this is a very open and honest conversation, so I'm gonna share some of the issues that I've been having and what really made me go, oh my gosh, I think maybe I'm going into this part of my life. So we're going to start with early perimenopause, which is like the first 5 years. The symptoms that a lot of women experience during this are your irregular periods, right? Because your estrogen is not cycling as normally as it used to. It can be super up and down. So because of that, then your periods are now and cycles are now up and down. So number one, irregular periods. You might start going through hot flashes and night sweats. And what I learned about that, we're going to talk about this more when I get into menopause, but the science, they don't really understand why we have night sweats or hot flashes, except that your ability to regulate your temperature decreases, it narrows. And it's not even your ability to regulate your temperature, it's actually what your body perceives as a normal temperature narrows. So say like before, like 96 to 100 was like normal. As you go into these perimenopausal and menopausal years, now your body sees normal as like 96 to 98. And so if you get hot, all of a sudden your body goes, whoa, you're overheating. And that's when it sends on the night sweats. It's to cool yourself down, okay? So your thermometer narrows. That's why you start to feel those night sweats and hot flashes. That can be a symptom. Your metabolism starts to decrease and you might start to be feeling that weight gain that you never had before doing the same things you always did. And you might start to see that shifting of body weight from primarily women usually have it like in hips, thighs, right? Up into your middle. And that's due to changes in your hormones. The other thing, and honestly, this one was the one, good morning, some more people are joining in. This one was the one that really got me and made me go, light bulb in my head, there's something weird happening. And that is you might start to be getting pelvic floor issues or like very small bits of incontinence. It could be incontinence where like you sneeze and you have a little bit of leakage, or like if you feel like you gotta go to the bathroom, you gotta go right now. If you've had kids, you may have been feeling these symptoms since you had children. I didn't have kids. I've never had trouble with pelvic floor, and then literally, all of a sudden within a year, I'd be like, what the heck is that? Like, I have never had pelvic floor issues. I've never had incontinence, and it's not all the time. It's very cyclical, up and down, and that is because of hormone issues. That one was a huge light bulb for me. That is normal for some women in terms of hormones, not normal if it's because of kids, by the way. And you can do stuff to prevent that, right? So that's a big one, that you can work on pelvic floor strength. So those were the main symptoms in early menopause. The main one is that your cycles start to be a little irregular. Then you could be getting hot flashes, night sweats, weight gain, and then minor incontinence, okay? Then we go into perimenopause mid-years, 5 years in. So if you're just joining, we're talking about perimenopause today. Super fun, uplifting stuff. 5 years in. Your moods may start to become really erratic. This is another one that I've had. You could start feeling more anxiety, depression, irritability, rage, even panic attacks. And the docs say that if you've had PMS through your life, then chances are it's going to get worse during this time. And even if you've had depressive episodes in your life and it's regulated by medications, and it's always been regulated successfully by medications, all of a sudden those medications might not work as well. And really, it doesn't have anything to do with the medications. It has to do with what your body is doing hormonally going through this journey. So that's a big one. The doc said that suicide really increases. There's an uptick in women in their perimenopausal and menopausal years. So just something to be aware of. My moods are way more erratic than they used to be. And the doctor said, same thing as your body temperature thermostat narrows, your ability to handle things narrows, right? Your irritability thermostat narrows. So patience, things like that, it's going to be a lot more erratic in those later middle perimenopausal years. Other things women might notice, sleep disturbances. Again, like the night sweats. The other thing I thought was interesting, because again, this is one that I've experienced. I'm experiencing all the weird ones, is restless leg syndrome. So restless leg syndrome, that popped up for me a year or so ago. So that can be an issue. It could be other issues as well, as a lot of times it's stress related, but it can also be hormonally related. The other one that's interesting that I don't have, but I found fascinating, that during this perimenopausal time, is that women can experience musculoskeletal pain, joint pain, right? So they said they report from knees, hips, ankles, and even like frozen shoulder can be very hormonally related during this time. And that can be from a combination of estrogen withdrawal, onset of arthritis, and the fact that we're sitting more, right? So as you're going through this journey, it could be more difficult to figure out why you're experiencing some of these issues. And it's might be important to draw from not just like an osteo doctor or orthopedic surgeon, but if you've had no injuries, if you've had no issues with joint pain in your history, right, then maybe you got to talk to your OBGYN instead. All right, so musculoskeletal and joint pain. That was one I didn't know about. Another one, brain fog, right? So estrogen is the master regulator in your brain. And as that decreases, as you start to go into those middle to late perimenopausal years, your brain doesn't have as much energy to function. So you might feel foggy, not able to concentrate, right? It's another one I'm getting. So another one I didn't know about, what I thought was really interesting. The good thing is that one tends to adapt, as a lot of them tend to adapt. As you go through the journey, your body adapts to its new normal, and a lot of these symptoms will decrease. Last one for middle perimenopausal years is skin changes. This one is the one good thing I noticed about it. My skin is just miraculously cleared up. I mean, like, I don't really have any breakouts hardly anymore, knock on wood, right? But you might be feeling more sensitive. Your skin could be more dry, more itchy. Your collagen production decreases, which is linked to estrogen as well. So things start to just not quite look as tight as they did when you're in your 20s, right? So middle perimenopausal years, 5 years in, erratic moods. You could have sleep disturbances, joint pain, brain fog, and skin changes. All ones I really didn't know about, but makes you think a little bit. So lastly, late perimenopause into menopause. So remember, menopause is that anniversary of the 12 months since your last period. So late into perimenopause, those 8 to 10 years before, you could start feeling like your pelvic floor and vaginal symptoms, dryness, less elasticity, discomfort, or painful sex. About 50% of women experience that, and then your period stops. I will say that Genev, Gennev, is the company I'm doing this certification with, and under their education tab on their website, they have the best, most open, honest, frank conversations for women about all of these things, but they had a really good one on intimacy and sex as you get older and how to deal with all of these symptoms and issues. So if you go up to education, I'll do a link at some point. It was a really, really good one. It was very open and honest, and frankly, I think very helpful. So yeah, we need to talk about it, right? We need to normalize it. So that's late perimenopause into menopause. Goodness, so much information. So other symptoms, I mean, it's like the gamut. Fatigue, breast tenderness, tingly fingers, heart palpitations, foot pain, headaches, ringing in your ears, digestive issues, like you might feel more gas or bloating, dental issues, and increased allergies, and even your body odor might change. I mean, estrogen is linked to like so many processes in the body, and I just think, man, as women, we just get the raw end of the deal. Like, we have to deal with this our whole life, and now we're dealing with it again. But you know what? It's a journey. And as I deal with my own struggles of going into these years, then I understand if you're dealing with your own struggles too. It's learning to appreciate the journey, appreciate the amazing work that our bodies as females can do. And the important thing to remember about this is that every woman is different. So I listed off all these symptoms. You might have a lot, you might not have any, right? So the most important thing I want you to understand is that it's super valuable to talk to your doctor. If there's anything you're noticing that's weird that you might not even think related, like joint pain, who knew? Restless leg syndrome, who knew? Talk to your OBGYN, and if you don't have one, get one who understands. The docs say a lot of times there's 3 different ways you can treat a lot of these symptoms: standard drugs, pharmaceuticals, lifestyle modifications like better diet, exercise, stress reduction, and good sleep hygiene, which we're going to talk about in another episode, and then homeopathic remedies, which I've found very helpful for myself. So talk to your doctor. If anything's weird, just talk to your doctor, okay? It might not be related, but it might. And it is a different tool in your toolbox to use in our medical professional system, all right? So, perimenopause, woo, go ladies. We're gonna talk about menopause and some of the other issues in future weeks, but I hope you find that valuable and eye-opening. I did. So with that, Happy New Year. Ring in this new year. 2021 is gonna be great. It's gonna be going up from here, right? Take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of your heart, and I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.